Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest news in the game industry. And today we got a lot of information on PlayStation as the new CEO, Jim Ryan, was interviewed, and he talked a lot about the changes within PlayStation. And I think a lot of people has noticed this for a while, and had some people concerned, so we will talk about that. Plus, Take-Two, the publisher behind Red Dead Redemption, Borderlands, and The Outer Worlds, had some good news with their most recent success. And XO19 is starting to shape up, so stay tuned for all that as well. But first, let's talk about PlayStation because there's a lot to unpack here. Ever since Jim Ryan took over as the CEO of PlayStation, there's been a lot of change there with well-known PlayStation employees leaving the company, and we've been hearing about a power struggle for a while now. Well, Jim Ryan seemed to have confirmed there is a lot of change going on right now, and this is in order to realize their dream vision for PlayStation 5. As for change, he doesn't believe in complacency and feels PlayStation needs to change to continue to meet fans' expectations. And to that, I think that is the correct assessment. We've seen in the past where a company has a huge amount of success and just kind of rests on their laurels, but Jim Ryan doesn't seem to want to fall into that same trap. I mean, even Sony in the past, if you look at the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 3, they kind of got, they got real arrogant and they struggled with the PlayStation 3. And the PlayStation 2 is actually the most successful home console of all time. So it is good that Jim Ryan isn't resting on his laurels here. And one thing Jim Ryan really seems to have been preaching is globalizing the PlayStation brand and just kind of streamlining everything together. What this means is that he doesn't want there to be all these different branches that just focuses on their own region, but rather he wants everybody to join together to just do things one time. He, however, emphasized that globalizing the PlayStation brand does not mean Americanization, and he still thinks of Europe and Japan as highly important. So don't think he's just trying to get rid of different branches. He's just trying to streamline things a little bit better. It's just kind of a structure thing, more or less. It all sounds very good as he says it though, and he seems like he has a vision for the company, which is always a good thing. We probably will see a lot of change over the next few years though, and I think we've already seen a few since he's taken over. We've seen crossplay now, though I guess that was already in development before he took over, but he has already stated that they do want to release more PlayStation games on PC, and we've seen some changes to PlayStation Now as well. So maybe those changes are a part of his vision, which is drastic changes compared to PlayStation of former years. And speaking of PlayStation Now, he dropped a little news nugget about PlayStation Now, and that since they dropped the price and added a few of their first-party games to the service, that their subscriptions raised by 50% and has reached 1 million subscribers. He did note that things could change still, but they aren't looking to add their first-party games day one as of this moment because he feels they're too special and valuable, and wants the launch of those games to be clean and pure. Now, I actually have a little criticism towards this statement. While yes, some of their games go on to sell crazy numbers like Spider-Man and God of War, they also just released Concrete Genie and Medieval, which seems to be largely ignored. And the thing was, they didn't get great advertising either, so it was almost like they were sent out to die. So why can't those type of games release on PlayStation Now day one? They could at least look at it from a game-to-game basis, in my opinion. And I've said this before, but I feel like Sony has one foot in and one foot out of PlayStation Now. They just released a few big games on PlayStation Now, such as God of War, and this month they actually released Persona 5, but they're only available for 3 months. Honestly, it took me like 8 months to beat Persona 5 because it's ridiculously long. But yeah, why can't they stay on the service longer? 3 months isn't a very long time. I think as Xbox Game Pass grows, they'll continue to change PlayStation Now, and at least this is a good start. We have seen some good changes. They've added direct downloads. They have added some bigger games like I had mentioned with Persona 5 and God of War, and they dropped the price, so it's a good start. I just want to see them to continue in that direction. Now, one other thing that was very interesting about this entire Jim Ryan interview was that Shu Yoshida is being replaced as the president of SIE Worldwide Studios for Guerrilla Games' Herman Hulst. Shu Yoshida will be taking on a new initiative to nurture external independent studios. And one thing I've been seeing a lot of people say is it sounds like a demotion for Shu, but I don't know if that's truly the case here. Shu Yoshida has shown some passion towards indie games over the generation, especially if you follow him on Twitter, and PlayStation hasn't really done a great job on the indie front in the last couple of years, so I think with Shu doing this could lead to better indie relations for PlayStation as a whole. So I think as long as Hermen Hulst can do a good job, because Yoshida did an excellent job as the president of SIE Worldwide Studios, but as long as he can do a good job too, I think this is a win for PlayStation. We'll of course have to see how it all turns out, but I'm not against this. It could lead to more games due to better indie support. In other news, Take-Two released a financial report, and wow, they're doing a good job over there. Red Dead Redemption 2 has went on to sell 26.5 million copies, Borderlands 3 has sold 7 million, and Grand Theft Auto 5 just seems like it's never going to slow down, as it's went on to sell 115 million copies worldwide. These are absolutely insane numbers and just goes to show you how well they're doing as a publisher. But none of this is really too surprising, to be completely honest. I kind of expected all of these to sell insanely well, so I wasn't overly surprised by this. The next one, though, is the one I'm most excited about, which is that The Outer Worlds exceeded expectations and is both critically and commercially successful. I keep talking about how good this game is, so I'm very excited to see it do so well. And as we've already heard, both Microsoft and Obsidian Entertainment wants to do a sequel, so by this point, I think we can surely expect to see it happen next generation. Take-Two also revealed that The Outer Worlds will be out on the Nintendo Switch before March, so that's really good news too. I'd like to see how well that it runs on the Switch myself, and even Obsidian was apparently surprised it would run on the Switch in the first place, so kind of curious to see how well it runs over there. And speaking of Obsidian Entertainment, they did post on Twitter yesterday that they will be at XO19 next week. I was a bit surprised by this considering they just released The Outer Worlds, so I'm curious as to what they will be doing at XO19. I assume it has to be The Outer Worlds related, but they do have several teams, so could they possibly show a new game there? Probably not, but I'm still interested. Anyways, though, that's it for this video, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button. Peace out.